Hey there everybody, this is Snackbox coming to you from a beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm coming to you to talk to you about segment 11. If you are watching this video, then it sounds like you are considering or have already decided to make your way around the collegiate range using the original east route. And if so, I'm here to give you some of the best tips that you can have to get through that segment as smoothly as possible. We got a lot to do, not a lot of time. Let's get to it. If you're watching this video, pay close attention. One of my tips could keep you out of prison. Maybe not prison, but it'll keep you from getting a ticket. Let's get going. So segment 11 of the Colorado Trail goes from the Mount Massive Trailhead to the Clear Creek Trailhead. It's about 21.5 miles, and it has about 2,900 feet of elevation gain and 4,000 feet of elevation descent. That number is going to be particularly important for us as we talk about one of the later tips that I have, because what it means is you have decided to go east, and because you've gone east, you will be going through a lot lower elevation. This has some advantages to it, some disadvantages as well. We're going to talk over a little bit of what that is in my second tip, but let's get to the first tip because it is the most important. And it actually has more to do with segment 12 than segment 11, but now is when you need to handle it. Segment 12 opens with a half-mile hike through the Clear Creek Reservoir State Wildlife Area. This is important because the state of Colorado passed a super frustrating rule that if you are going to be in a wildlife area, you have to have a fishing license. What that means for you is that you need to have a fishing license to go through the first half mile of segment 12. That's really unfortunate news. It's really frustrating, especially because most of you have probably no intention of fishing in this area. The good news, however, is that all the money that you give over to a fishing license will go to conservation or resource management, so you can kind of make your peace with it that way. The good news, though, is that segment 11 passes right by Twin Lakes, and the Twin Lakes General Store sells fishing licenses, and you can buy them for a couple of days out. So my first tip to you is that as you pass through Twin Lakes, go ahead and buy a fishing license then. Don't try to plan it on the first few wet days of your trip. Don't try to buy it before you started in Waterton Canyon. Wait until you get to Twin Lakes, because the General Store will sell you a fishing license for the next day, which is when you're most likely to be passing through the Clear Creek Reservoir State Wildlife Area. So go ahead and buy that permit. That will save you any risk of running into a $100 fine from the state of Colorado. We don't want that. We want everybody to have a great trip. I believe a one-day fishing license is about $16.50, whatever it is. I don't recommend trying to pass through it without a fishing license, although I've known people who have done it and done it successfully, but I don't know that that's a good look for us as hikers to be breaking the rules like that. So do with that what you will. Now, a few minutes ago, I mentioned to you that segment 11 actually loses about 1,100 feet throughout the course of the hike. This is really important because this also sets you up, by passing through that Twin Lakes General Store, sets you up with a really great opportunity to consider trying a different method of cooking throughout the east. The east barely ever passes above tree line, if ever, and it's a lot warmer section overall. This is a great opportunity for you to consider trying my second tip, which is to consider using this as an opportunity to try cold soaking or maybe even going stoveless. You can still carry your stove with you, but try putting together a bunch of meals that either don't require a stove or don't require cooking, or that are cold soaking. I got my pup here, she's pulling on me. Come here, bub. All right. If you've taken segment 11, that likely means that you've decided to go east around the collegiate range. East around the collegiate range means you're not really going to go above tree line for the next 90 miles or so, and that should take everybody about a week or so, depending on how fast you hike. Some people might be able to punch it out in 5 days. Some of you might take a full 9 or 10 days, especially if you decide to take a zero in Buena Vista or even Salida. Both are really great options for you, but this is really a great time to consider trying out a new method of cooking, or not cooking as it were. So consider trying to do some cold soaking through this section, consider doing some stoveless cooking. And the reason I say that is that if you decide that, you know what, maybe you really love the idea of cooking, but you love more the idea of getting rid of some weight, then you're going to pass Salida in about 80 miles or so. And this is a great spot where you can send home all of your stuff. Salida has all of the groceries and amenities that you'll need. So if you decide to mix it up a little bit and swap over from cooking all of your meals to going stoveless or even cold soaking your food, that's a great opportunity to make the conversion. So this is a really good time to switch it over, especially because those lower elevations mean you're unlikely to run into the same cold temperatures. And so cooking a hot meal at the end of the day is not as critical as if you go around the west side, which is much higher in elevation, which also translates to a lot colder temperatures. The last piece of advice for you I have going into segment 11, there's a really flat stretch. There's about 6 miles that go from mile 8 in segment 11 all the way to mile 14 where you're going to walk around the Twin Lakes. This is probably the most similar segment to Waterton Canyon that you'll have since Waterton Canyon, because you won't have very much elevation change at all. You'll be walking next to a water source, so you won't need to carry water, but you will be exposed almost the whole time. So in the same way that I recommended going through Waterton Canyon and being ready for a lot of sun exposure, this is the same going through segment 11. Maybe what you want to do is carry your umbrella through this section. Maybe what you want to do is time it to where you're leaving before the sun rises over those peaks with segment 11, tucked in between a bunch of huge mountains, so you get a little extra time on the front of the day and on the end of the day where you can make a lot of those miles without the sun beating straight down on your head. It's a really great opportunity for you to adjust your plans and know that that flat stretch is not hard by way of climbing, but you don't want it to really wear you out before you get around to the other side of the lake, because on the other side of the Twin Lakes, climbing gets pretty serious from there. So know that this is a really exposed segment. The other thing that makes it different from Waterton Canyon is that the lake really does reflect a lot more of the sunlight back onto you, so it's almost like being in front of two suns through that segment. So just know going in, this is not necessarily a cakewalk. It's super manageable. I don't want you to be afraid of it. The whole goal of this video series is to make sure that you feel prepared, but not afraid of the challenges ahead. And really, don't be afraid of it. Know that you're going to make it through. It's a really great stretch, but also don't plan on camping next to the lake. This is something I mentioned in the segment 10 video. It's really important here because there are a lot of homes that are around that area, and if they start complaining to the Colorado Trail Foundation or to the state about people camping in that area, then we could have some real struggles for a lot of people. So do your absolute best not to camp around the lake. I'm not even sure if it's legal, to be quite honest with you, but be a good steward of the trail, be a good community member for Colorado trail hikers in the years to come. It'll be appreciated by everybody in the future. I can promise you that. All right, everybody. Well, that covers it for segment 11 of the Colorado Trail. I hope these tips have been helpful to you. Remember, just to sum it up, buy your fishing license for segment 12 at the Twin Lakes General Store. They're not a sponsor. I just really love them. I've stopped there every year. Great store, a lot of great support. Let's make sure we keep them thriving throughout the years to come. It's owned and operated by backpackers and backcountry people. They will be supportive of you, so let's be supportive of them. For tip number 2, through the east, try going cold soaking or stoveless, whatever it may be. It's a really good opportunity because you'll be lower in elevation than you've been in a while. The temperatures should be lower than going west. Good opportunity to see if maybe you can cut some of that weight when you hit Salida by switching over to cold soaking or maybe going stoveless. It's a good opportunity to think that over. And then finally, don't let that 6-mile stretch around the lakes fool you. It can be really daunting, especially because of the sunlight bouncing off of the lake onto you. So be ready for a lot of sunshine or plan around that so that you're not hiking around the lake during the heat of the day. And then lastly, if you've subscribed to my channel by March 1st, you will be entered to win 2 of these double-walled stainless steel wine mugs, coffee mugs, whatever it is. These are great for overnighters. They're great for hot drinks, cold drinks, wine, whatever it is. They have 2 of those sweet outside comfort zone stickers on them. Look at that. Those are pretty sweet. In the last video, I gave away a bunch of outside comfort zone stickers, and I have 5 left. So 5 stickers left. If you send me a message at Backcountry Champion on Instagram, I will mail you one of these for free. No money out of pocket. I just want to say thank you to all of you who have supported the channel so far in this project. I've had a great time so far, so send me a message at Backcountry Champion on Instagram so that I can get you set up with one of these outside comfort zone stickers. I'd love to show some support for you because you all have shown support for me. I'm super grateful. Thank you all for tuning in. Tune in next time. We're going to be talking about segment 12. Segment 12 is a doozy. I said this about a couple of different segments, but this might be one of the hardest climbs in the whole segment for a lot of different reasons. I want to make sure you keep your head in the game going through segment 12, 13 as you make your way around to Monarch Pass. Just as a spoiler alert, Monarch Pass at the end of the Colorado East and the West, actually, where they meet back up, is spectacular. So look forward to a lot of great days to come. I look forward to hearing from you. In the comments below, I'm curious to hear what your sleep setup is. What are you using for shelter? What are you using for a sleeping bag? I'd love to know. On the last time through the Colorado Trail, I used the Deschutes Plus from 6 Moons Designs, a Thermarest quilt, and I'm thinking about mixing it up a little bit. If you have recommendations or thoughts or ideas, put them in the comment box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is a community we're building here. It's not just me telling you what to do. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts as well. We've got the power of the community working together. So leave me those comments below. Looking forward to hearing from you, and I will talk to you soon. Snack box out, everybody. Have a great day.